Children, and I did see two sneak in. Can you come and join me for a story? Because I hate telling stories to myself or the oldies who call themselves children. And is there another one back there or two? Come and join us. I've got some stories about pigs. Do you like pigs? Probably not, but come down anyway. Right, coming to the middle? Okay. I'll sit down here. That's it. Come and join us. Okay, come and join us. These pigs won't hurt you because they're only on the screen, but they can hurt because they're called feral pigs. Do you know what a feral pig is? Do any of you boys know a feral pig? It's a wild, you're right, wild pigs. And fortunately, the story I've got is not going to include stories with wild pigs with tusks on them, because this was a female pig, and the female pig is called a sow. Okay, and her piglets. So let's start the story. Okay, the story started about 10 years ago. My wife and I were away in the caravan, and we were at a beach up in just above the Sunshine Coast, and we wanted to do some walking, and you could walk straight out the back of the caravan park onto this boardwalk going through the bush, but there was a sign there that says, "Poison bait, feral pigs." And we didn't have to go very far before we began to see there sure was some feral pigs around, because, and this is just a little of what we saw, there was all this digging up at the ground where they dig up roots and just bore around the place and make a terrible mess of the countryside. So they're becoming quite a pest in Australia. And so that's why they were poisoning them. So I was a bit worried about this walking out there. I didn't want a pig to come along. And fortunately, we got past the swampy area and we're continuing on the path. Didn't see any evidence now of the pig, but my wife thought this was just as frightening, seeing the goanna up the tree and looking at the flowers. That was good. And then after we finished that walk, I said, I want to go to the bird hide. I'd seen on an app that there was a bird hide further along. And so I went off along this track, and it was actually a swampy area again. You can see there's a bit of the ocean on the left-hand side. It's come in through this channel, goes under the bridge there, and it makes a fairly big swampy area at high tide. Low tide, there's not much water around. And so this is where I was heading. I was heading off to the bird hide. Here it is. Now, a bird hide is where you can sneak up, get into this shed, and there are a few peepee holes where you can look out over the water and you can see the birds coming in. But being low tide, there didn't seem to be too many. But anyway, got a couple of pictures of some ducks and a small little bird up there. Anyone know that name? Pardalote. Okay, so that's a little pardalote, very small bird. And so I was enjoying the walk, and when it was all finished and I'd finished my time watching for birds, etc., even though I didn't see very many, started heading home. And it was just starting to get towards the end of the afternoon, and then I saw this black thing, big black thing, in the grass just through the bushes. It was a big black pig. Fortunately, it was a sour black pig. How would you be if you confronted with that in the middle of the bush? Go chase it? Ooh, don't try. No, not a good idea chasing wild pigs, because they will attack. Particularly the ones with the tusks, the boars, they love to attack with their tusks. But this one I recognised, probably a female, probably a sour. But she just stared at me, and I thought, just in case, what can I protect myself with? Guess what was on the ground? A log almost bigger than me to lift up. But I picked it up anyway, and by this stage, the pig is still staring at me, and I was staring back at her, thinking, come on, you go away, because I don't want to hurt you. And I was trying to get, and this is a big zoom camera I had, I was trying to get it organised for some more pictures. And then it was interesting, about this stage while we're staring at each other, she gave a real, a special sound. And I thought, what does that mean? And then she started to slowly take some steps backwards, and then all of a sudden started running, but all the time she's going, woof, 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 and making this special sound as she was running away back into the bush, hiding behind where I could see where she was, but I couldn't see her clearly behind the bushes there. and still made a couple of noises. And I thought, I wonder what's going on here. And so while I was just trying to work out what was going on, all of a sudden she gave a different sound. It was a high-pitched squeal, a sound now. And guess what? And of course, trying to get my camera organised was very difficult. I only got the one last one fleeing away through the bush. Can you see in the middle of the circle there? It is a baby piglet. All right, and there were about 8 of them that had been lying low in the long grass there and hiding. And when the mother pig was going, making the deep grunts, that was stay low, don't get up, don't move. And they didn't. They obeyed. But when she gave the high-pitched squeal, whoop, up they all shot and they raced after where Mum was. And about as soon as they got there, I could hear her thumping through the bush, and away they went. And I thought, wow, what a lesson. If piglets can obey the command of their mother and not jump up when they're not supposed to, do you reckon we could probably also obey the commands of our parents? Oh, hang on, and God? The book of Daniel that we're about to start a series on in the church here with Pastor Andrew, and our Pastor Abel's going to start it today, we're looking at some stories where people were prepared to do what God said rather than to be pressured in what they felt should be done for their best interest. Because I reckon those piglets were probably wanting to run after their mother, but she was stay down until she gave the right sound, and up they came. They had learnt obedience. That's amazing for piglets, isn't it? So anyway, this is not my photo now. This is one I have to get off the internet. But I reckon that night there was a mother sow that was enjoying feeding her 8 piglets, and they had learnt to be faithful, hadn't they? Okay, you can go back to your seats now. Thank you.